If you're married or thinking about getting married, you want to listen to this. Don't believe everything you hear about marriage. New researcher finds that much of what we think we know about the institution of marriage is dead wrong. For example, half of all marriages do not end in divorce.
But we've heard that for years and years, right? Believe it or not, single people do not have more sex than married couples. Oh yeah, joining us to explain is Tara Parker Pope, author of Better, the Science of a Good Marriage. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
A lot of eyebrows just been raised here in the studio.
Yes, you get that a lot.
So let's get back to that, the 50% of all marriages ending divorce. We have heard that time after time. You say, no, that's not true.
You know, it's really a murky statistic and it's really not true. I believed it. I was going through a divorce and sort of felt like I was on the unlucky side of this coin toss. And as I pursued the research, I realized that that statistic does not apply to most of us. It does not apply to people getting married today. Divorce is getting less common and marriage is getting stronger. So couples getting married now, married in the 90s, have much lower divorce rates than their counterparts in the 70s.
Why is that?
Marriage is changing. People are getting married a little later. They're waiting longer. Marriages after 25 typically are stronger. We're seeing weaker relationships sort of wash out before you say I do. So all of these trends are really quite good for marriage.
I want to give people at home some tips that we're going to let them follow along with as we do this. And you say one of the keys for the strong marriage here is to avoid conflict. And how do you avoid conflict in marriage without, of course, telling me don't get married?
Well, it's not so much to avoid conflict. Conflict is inevitable, and every married couple knows that you're going to have conflict. You're going to have disagreements. It's just normal. What you want to avoid is sort of hostile and negative conflict. Yeah. Conflict can be very productive for a relationship. So you want to learn how to, it's not what you fight about. It's not how often you fight. If you never fight, that doesn't mean things are great. If you fight all the time, that doesn't mean things are bad. It's how you fight. Yeah. Are you making accusations? Are you saying, you never do this, you never do that? That's a very good word to avoid during an argument. Don't use the word you.
So conflict, arguments are actually kind of good for a marriage. It's healthy. But you say in the first, 3 minutes of an argument, you know exactly what's wrong with that particular marriage?
Well, that's research from a Seattle marriage researcher named John Gottman, and he does say that he can look at couples and see, and again, it's how you start the fight that not only sets the tone for the argument, but really for the whole marriage.
And as far as making marriages last, you say warmth and affection is key. I mean, it's almost paramount.
You know, it's really essential, and one thing we've learned from studying marriages is, you know, we focus a lot on the negative things that go on in relationships, but there's this new shift to really studying the positive things. And you see that having a lot of positive, you know, a lot of compliments, they actually say a 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative, showing warmth and affection predicts a stronger relationship.
How do you avoid boredom and keep that attraction alive?
You know, there are studies that show that boredom is a big predictor of marital unhappiness, and they find that just simply doing new and different things together can really tap into some of those early romantic feelings. It actually can release brain chemicals. It makes it feel like you're, you know, in the butterflies of early romantic love. So just go do something new and different. Take a class, go to a lecture. Don't do the same old thing.
Is there any truth to the theory that commitment is genetic?
Well, it's really quite fascinating. We've seen this in animal studies. There's something called a prairie vole, and they know there's a genetic component to that little critter, and to monogamy, to fidelity in the wild. With humans, they've seen that there is a genetic trait that seems to predict happy or unhappy relationships. We've seen this in women. Women are less happy if they have certain genetic compatibility with their partner. So we do see these patterns.
Tara, thank you very much. Good to see you.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.